Good morning, it's Michelle Thompson, your legal and academic coach, and this is my weekly writing tip. I'm so glad to have you with me. It's a beautiful day here in New York. It's a little cold, but it's absolutely lovely. So I've worked as a lawyer, and I work currently as a coach and someone who works in academia, and I write regularly all the time. And I've learned a lot about writing in the last 10 years, and I want to share that with you. And here's the thing, sometimes you have writing projects that don't seem to be getting anywhere. You keep trying, and they don't seem to quite work. Or you just get stuck for whatever reason, and I want to give you some pointers to help you work that out so you're not stuck anymore and you can keep moving forward. So that's what I do. So today I want to talk to you about the following question. How hard is it for you to get started writing? And by that, I don't really mean the ritual stuff you do, right? Maybe you need the cup of coffee. Maybe you need to listen to a little bit of the news, the perfect music, you check your email, you go on Facebook, all of the things that are really great. Time sucks. Just saying. That's not what I'm actually talking about. I'm talking about this. Do you find yourself, once you've done all of that, just staring at a blank screen? You don't know what to write. Nothing seems to come out. This actually happens to the best of writers. So it's actually important to understand that for yourself. It's not just your own personal feelings, that this happens to many, many people. And I think here's where we get stuck in this particular place, that what we want to come out on the paper has to be absolutely phenomenal. The best thing that anyone has ever written. And, you want it to be the best thing ever. You want it to be clear, you want it to be precise, you want it to be lyrical, right? You want it to be profound and unique and earth-shattering. That's a whole lot to ask for the first sentence you put down for the day, right? And that's certainly something you can aspire to, but I think it's time for me to burst your bubble so you actually get on point with the business of writing. So let me say a little bit more about that. I'm going to burst your bubble. You know all of those writings all those writers that you love and adore? Yeah, think about them. You have a list. I certainly have my own list of people that I love and adore as writers, right? What you read and the fabulous stuff that they put out is their edited work. It's the work that has been gone over with a fine-tooth comb. It is not the crud they put down first, and I mean that crud. It actually started as pablum, just not good. It was complete crap. It was absolutely horrific, and they kind of thought, you know what, if this is where we're going to start, this is not going to get anywhere. They have the same doubts and the same challenges that you have. Isn't it nice to know that you're in the same place with somebody else? But here's the thing. They edited it. They edited and they edited and they edited it. They looked at draft number 1 and they thought it was horrible. They looked at draft number 2 and they thought it was better. They looked at draft number 3. They thought it was a marked improvement, not perfection yet, but a marked improvement. They looked at draft number 4 and they thought, this is the best I could do. Actually, it's pretty good. And yeah, the editor should take this and let's just call it a day and call it a book. But then the editors got their hands on it, and the author actually got offended because the first draft that the editor looked at, they said, this could use some work. There's a pearl here, but we need to refine it. And the author said, are you kidding me? This is the best I can do. The editor thought they actually might have shot themselves, right? That's what they got. So they worked through that manuscript with that author to make it exactly what they want it to be, to make it that gem that's absolutely amazing and the best thing ever. By the time you read their deep, beautifully written work, it was draft number 10, 12, 18, I don't know, 30, okay? You get the point. Here's my moral for today. Don't let perfectionism get the better with you on writing. It's just not going to get you anywhere. It's why you edit. It's why we have editors. It's why we write with other people. It's why we get feedback on our work. We don't do it alone. And it's not going to be perfect the first time. You have all of this resource to make it great. So that's all good. And I've talked about editing. But what do you do when you just start to get something on the page? When you actually sit down and you look at the screen and you go, I don't know. Write down whatever is in your head. I know, this is the ugly stuff. This is the stuff that you try to hide from people. It's the process. But just put down something on the page. And it might be, I hate writing. It might be, this article sucks. It might be, I wish I was watching Game of Thrones. It might be, I'm scared. It might be, I hope my advisor or nobody, no other human on this earth sees what I'm putting down on this piece of paper, and so on. Keep writing down the ridiculous stuff in your sentences. And when something that pops in your head that is relevant to what you're actually trying to address, write it. Put it down. And then follow that up with something. And it might be more of, I can't believe I just wrote this. This was the worst thing I've ever done. I don't know how that goes in your head. You hear how it goes in mine, right? Then write that. And then the next thing that pops up that's relative to what you're, related to what you're trying to do, write that down. And then what follows that might be also related. And on it goes. Get yourself going. This process is called free writing. And it allows you to get the blocks out of the way while actually getting something on the page, which is really important. Eventually you want to get more and more sentences focused on what you're doing, but you may actually need to do a lot of this free writing to get something meaningful on the page. This method of my writing is championed by Peter Elbow. He wrote a book called Writing with Power, and it gives you a chance. You can do this if you're stuck. If you feel like, I don't know what to do, that's the process that you can use to just get unstuck. Sometimes you can figure out where you're going quickly. Sometimes you get nowhere quickly, and that's okay. So here's, I know what you're thinking, like, that's really great. I put on all this pablum that on the page, and what am I going to do with it? Do I stop there? Absolutely not. So what you're going to do is actually eventually edit that out, and you're going to see the pearls of whatever that you wrote, or the diamonds in the rough that you're gonna have to polish. That's what you're gonna work on, right? The editing is a separate process, but the point here is to just write. Don't write and edit at the same time. I have another video on that. I want you to go ahead and watch that so you have a sense of how distinct these processes are. So just go ahead and put something on the page. When you go back to edit, you're gonna take all of this out, and then you can see what's really helpful there. As you unearth more nuggets, you'll see how this comes together towards a larger project. At some point, the rest of this writing won't be necessary. You'll be on fire. You'll be like, yes, I always wanted to write about fill in the blank. Why are we doing this? We're doing this because you're trying to avoid being a perfectionist. You're trying to avoid making that first sentence the absolute perfect thing that you need to write. You don't want that to happen. Remember, at any phase of academic writing, your job is to finish. Finish. The best article is the finished and published article, and it doesn't get there without editors. The best dissertation is the done dissertation. Done. Not Oxford University Press worthy dissertation. No. Finished, written, defended, stamp of approval, you are PhD. That is the dissertation you're aiming for. The best book that is written is a finished book, and it gets finished with the help of editors. It doesn't mean that the first go round with whatever you're writing isn't going to be sheer perfection. That's okay. You can always go back and put on addenda. You can do a new edition if it sells well enough, and you can say, okay, what I meant to do here was this, and it didn't happen, so let me just add this extra section. You can do that. Just move towards something, right? So that's it. Put it whatever on the paper. Whatever pablum is in your head, put it on the paper. That's my tip for today. Thank you so much for watching me. I like people like Nicole. You rock my world. This is like the best. Thank you. But before I go, like this page if you haven't done so already. Just, press a little thumbs up guy and like the page. Number 2, if you are interested as an academic and following me, if you scroll down on the left side of the page, there's a link for a newsletter. Go ahead and click on that. If you're a lawyer, I'm going to put a link in the comments box about how you can click on how you can get a newsletter from me if you're a lawyer. Please sign up for the newsletter. This month I actually have something really interesting comparing writing to sex, and you wouldn't want to miss that now, would you? Also, if you're an academic, I am on the verge of rolling out Tribe of Academic Warriors. I want you so much to be a part of that. So go ahead and just keep an eye out for that. If you are a lawyer, if you click on the sign up button below, you can become part of that tribe. If you're in New York, I host meetups with academic writers and adjuncts. I would love to have you. Please join that. If you want me to speak at your school, to work with other academics, or if you want me to work with people in your law firm, I'm happy to do a brown bag lunch about planning, about writing, about whatever it is. I'm happy to do that. Contact me, send me a message here. And finally, if you want a hand with writing, go ahead, send me a message. We'll figure out how to get that going. Have a great day. Thank you.